Okay, we are back in the pre-game again. We're looking at bans happening soon. Teams are fully drafted. This is an interesting um, lineup here. We got Elijah, Kurt, Tor, Matthew, and Nick on one team. This is looking like a very strong team here. A team that kind of knows what roles they play, and has no question about what they want to achieve on their role, maybe except for Kurt. Kurt kind of knows nothing about the game, and I'm not sure about Matthew either. And on the other team, we've got players who have playtime, except for Maya. Like these are players who really have played a lot of Overwatch and know what they're doing. Is a strong DPS lineup here on Ripley and Max. Two players who are very strong in, the roles that they play. This is probably going to be looking like Fatboy or Daniel on tank, and then Maya and Seb on support. A just like a consistent support lineup that will probably be on looking like probably a Juno Kiriko here versus an Ana and probably an Ana Kiri. It will probably be Juno Kiri versus Ana Kiri here on this game for the support lineup. I couldn't tell you what tanks are going to be played. Probably Roadhog on the blue team, or if they put Tor on tank, which they might actually, considering he's more of a tank player than Kurt is. An Akshan ban from blue team is very interesting. That's one of Ripley's really only heroes to play. Maybe Nidalee next, and a Jax ban, which is strange because that's Tor's hero. And then a Jinx ban onto Elijah. It looks like actually what's happening is a Venture ban. This makes sense. Max is a really, really tried and true Venture one trick. Very, very strong on that hero. Indomitably so. Didn't see you see what happens when he doesn't play. It didn't really pan out for him the last game on Genji. But I mean, practice makes perfect. And maybe he'll play it anyway. An Ana ban is fair. Ana's played a lot by Nick. Is just a strong hero in general. Does deserve a ban sometimes. It's interesting though. It may just be more target bans. It may just be the exact same ban lineup that we had last game. Or maybe we'll look at something more interesting, something actually that maybe develops a comp more. I do want to see an actual comp. A Doom ban. Daniel did do very well on Doom on Eichenwald. That was a powerful display. It looks like we're entering the game.
Welcome
Bans weren't done though, as far as I'm aware. That's interesting. The Hog Doom. This is fair. Daniel did very well on Doom in the last match on Eichenwald, and Hog is maybe one of Kurt's only heroes that he can actually play, other than what he said was Mei during the redraft. So it's gonna be Tor on Ram. I did kind of say that I think I'd see Tor on, but we're looking at Elijah back on DPS. No Kiriko out of Elijah, that's interesting, and then Kurt on Juno. Seb on Kiri, that's what I thought. Maya on Juno. Yep, so a Kiri Juno here. With Ana banned, their options are Wu Yang Juno. That's also a good comp, maybe a better comp, some would say. Very much more suited to the map than a Curie Juno is, maybe, but again, Curie's just like always been the best hero in the game. And the Max kicks off. It's just going to be Poke mostly coming out of the Wu Yang Cassidy here, trying to look for some damage. Ripley is looking to get an early play. Oh no, that's Max on Genji, yeah, because the bench is banned. Max is just looking to make something happen early here, and it happens with the help of mostly their whole team on the flank here. They've really taken this side, and Tor's alone on the cart. They're really just taking this long, trying to force out blue team, and this is a really, really powerful play here. Daniel just finds the straggler, Matthew and Sombra, trying to stop that cart there. And yeah, this is looking just like complete map control and domination out of red team. This has been a very powerful opener here to redeem themselves from the last match. It could be, I don't know how different this draft is, I don't remember, but it is. Elijah's looking to retake some space on the left here, finds nothing, especially with the pressure from Max here on Genji. As Red swings this corner, they're kind of leading open into more of Blue's territory. Elijah just shoots into Max in the deflect and dies. It's another really good pick here from Max, just shutting down their long-range pressure. They kind of can't do anything about this Freya anymore, though. This Freya is far too in. Tor will probably finish this off here. No, it's Nick on the Wu Yang. That's a good retrade there for killing Elijah. Genji's also very far in, especially into a Sombra here. The Wu Yang waves comes out. Wu Yang is dead. Max actually is kind of going crazy this game, far more than I'd expect. This is a dominant, this is powerful plays here from this Genji. Max is definitely putting up a performance here. Tor is just taking this frontline fight as Ram can do. Max gets another kill on the backline here. He is genuinely dominating. That Juno's dead, and now Elijah gets that long-range poke out on the soldier. Tor's just going to be stranded in the front line. Manages to find Maya on Juno. An ult here is really good. Max finds another kill on the Genji. And so both supports are dead, but Tor is just like making a lot of shit happen here. That trade, actually, I didn't realize. That Ram ult just closes that out for Blue. You know, really an upset for the fight. Nick and Tor almost single-handedly turned that fight around there. It was really well held onto by Blue there. Yeah, just that Ram ult comes out at a really opportune time, but Max has once again just found that Sombra. He's just finding all of these picks somehow. He's looking like he's going to go up for this Wu Yang here, but he's been spotted by the Ram. Blue team are now aware of his presence. That's a really good rock there from Daniel onto the Juno. Obviously nothing there to follow up on that. Ripley is just not present. There's a Genji ult on the backline, straight into an ulted Wu Yang. He's going to find someone. Yes, does find Elijah. Luckily, just not enough resources there for the soldier. Is opening up a lot of that space there. Red has really been able to take control of the map here. Max is back to full. This is... they've got a great position, but Tor on Ram is just walking straight into them, manages to find Seb. That's a really good pick there. Is now Graviton fluxed by the Sigma. Tor just finds Maya, and Nick just manages to trade out on a Nick. Onto Max, sorry, and once again, Blue just managed to hold on by the skin of their teeth almost, it looks like, but then again, when you see how all of them are alive again, you know, it seems to just kind of effortlessly be going Blue's way. I don't know where Red are really making the misstep. It could just be Ripley is just not finding enough purchase on the Freya, and that's why he's swapped to Tracer. Matthew has also found himself kind of doing nothing on Sombra and swapped to a much more anti-dive focused Torbjorn play here. Ripley and Max are both linked up in their backline here. We'll see if the team can hold control of the cart here, though, to kind of shut down this overtime. Tor finds Max, but Max finds Torb. Matthew on Torb. Juno ult here is really powerful for them, but the Ram ult just manages to find Maya on the Juno. And Blue here really... This Wu Yang not dying here for that long is really good for Blue. This Ram ult is just once again so dominant. Like, this team has kind of no way to shut him down here. Very little CC. Max is just back from spawn too late. And that's a really, really good round there. Very well played by Blue. It looks really good for Red there in the first like 30 seconds. They took a great position, but Blue can just lock that down. Like, they never could kill the tank. the Wu Yang could live for just long enough to keep the tank alive. The tank would find, the Tor and Ram would just find one or two, mostly both supports often. Maybe support's just getting too out of position, especially with the dominance they had on DPS there. Max really was the man of the match there. Was making a lot of plays happen. Maybe too many for Red to handle, possibly. I think maybe his team just couldn't kind of catch up to him, almost. And that is really unfortunate, honestly. They made a switch up. I did forget that this is not role queue. They put Max onto support now. Strangely enough, because Max is doing very well on Genji, but I think it's just to supplement the fact that their supports were kind of really out of position quite often. Like found too far forward, too far to the side, really just letting themselves die to the Ram. So he's going to see if he can try to remedy this. This is going to be a brig matchup between Nick and Max. Probably two of the best players in this lobby as of current. Elijah is back on Xion, really moving back to the meta. Tor is staying Ram here for the attack. Is interesting. I think just like has more confidence on the role than Daniel does, and that makes a lot of difference. Confidence on this tank pick. A Reaper pick is interesting. They're going to try and close this gap a lot more. Reaper teleporting onto the side. They're just now aware of him. Max is just going to walk the Reaper down, manages to force him out, especially with the help of the nade from Junkrat. Now this poke from the top, the top of the bridge from Junkrat is really powerful, but Max finds himself caught out by Tor here, just like pushing too far for a kill, as he often does, and Nick finds Ripley on the anti-dive. This is just looking really good. It's a 3v5 here for Blue. They're finding Seb here, just like, yeah, this is just, they're just overrunning them. Just maybe playing a little too forward, Redder, often, and just, mostly getting caught out by this Ram. That's just really what it is. Max is going to fight here for his life. Red is going to try their best, but they just can't overcome. Very, very comfortable win for Blue Team here. It's really a dominance from Tor, I'd say, mostly. This Ram was making a lot of stuff happen, especially on that defense, was really just locking down the objective almost completely. And despite how many picks that Red Team could find on Genji and Freya sometimes, and even the Tracer towards the end, it was not quick enough. Like, they'd find one early, but one that didn't really matter for the team fight, maybe, like, the Sombras dying early, it's like, they are meaningful picks, but I think the rest of their team couldn't really follow up on that very early pick. And then, as Blue Team kind of finds themselves locking down the objective and locking together with that Wu Yang, Ram, and Juno, they can kind of just close it all down. And the Max especially, but also Ripley, they just couldn't get through quick enough. They'd managed to find another pick or two, but not before Tor could really even out the fight. And then Nick on Wu Yang just had a lot of poke, very powerful poke, just that really could be countered by mostly anything, and it just doesn't go well for Red, no matter how hard they fight. And it was a really hard fight. I could tell that they were putting a lot of their energy and effort into that match. But, sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, and we're going to take the fight. Looking like it's going to Ilios. And I'm not sure how these bans work, but maybe it's just the same bans across the whole series, which means we may never see Max on Venture, his number one tried and true pick. Obviously, judging by the last match, doesn't really matter much. Max can find a lot of purchase on the Genji. I'm sure he was feeling himself there, as professionals say, feeling themselves. And it was really, he built a lot of confidence to see that kind of gameplay out of Max on a hero that he mostly has never touched. I think he's only level 9 on Genji, which, in the grand scheme of things, is very, very low. Extremely low.
Ready for battle.
It looks like there just are no bans for the second match. Or at least they have been forgot about. But it's just going to be a lot of comfortable picks out of Red Team. Ripley, historically, was a very very strong Pharah player. He's very like backed off aerial,
Round one.
aerially focused DPS player. This Pharah, the Freya, the Echo. He likes a lot of those flying heroes. Blue, we're gonna try and look for a point lockdown with Symmetra, Brig, and Zarya. It may not go for them. They have a lot less range than Red do, and they may not be able to close down this Pharah. And we'll see how Max performs on Venture. Likely very well, but they will have to lock him down. It looks like Curtis has no help in the back for the Venture and is just completely demolished. And now there's just going to be a dominant position for Red. Let's see how long it takes them to get the point. It looks like they're doing it now as I say it. I'm just eating my words here. You know, that's just a very early pick for Red that really secures this position. Definitely getting rid of their Juno, who was a consistent support here for this team. It looks like Matthew is trying to make something happen. He's going up top just to get this off angle, but Max is getting closed out by Tor here. Max is going to also meet the rest of their team in mid. Oh my god, Daniel finds Elijah, maybe getting too cocky there on the Xion. Just like too far in, just gets himself closed down. Max does manage to get away alive though, surprisingly, especially with where he ended up in their team. He was very far in, and now they're just completely unaware of his flank there. Ripley just like demolishes this Ana. He's just going in for free. There's no shutdown. Elijah was just completely unaware, and these DPS are just ruining this backline. Maybe the same performance we saw from last game, but this map is much more to their favor. It's a lot closer. It's a lot easier for the rest of their team to kind of follow up on a good position made by their DPS. Tor was fighting for the point, but dies. Of course, cut off completely from his team by this Pharah Venture combo. Elijah's looking for an early pick here on the high ground. Max on Venture is really far in the back once again. This is his specialty. He is a rapist. He is a stalker in this backline. Daniel sees Elijah on the high ground, forces him out. This Cass is going for the Mega underneath, but still dies to the Doomfist in the end. Venture looking for something in the middle on the Symmetra specifically, gets bubbled though. And manages to find his way out alive though. Just back to a very neutral fight here. Sev is, for some reason... Oh no, wait, never mind. That is where Red is meant to be. Never mind. Blue have just made the whole rotation in, completely unbeknownst to Red. They just like didn't lock any of that down, surprisingly. The barrage comes out of the Pharah, manages to find Zarya with no bubbles, and Red is just going to close out this advantage that they have now. A very ineffective Simul here. Just desperation, really. Looking for something to maybe save their position on the point is just now Elijah here in a 1v2. He's going to die here to the Doomfist, the Kiri, and the Juno. Managed to hold on to the point long enough. 30% is okay, but they're going to have to make a really good, strong comeback here in this round. Maybe a good, looking for a really good Graviton grab here from Zarya. Just shutting down this Venture ult in the back line here. Doomfist ult goes onto nothing. Maybe just get away alive. But Sim and Cassidy have rotated the point. They killed Kiri on the back line, but now the rest of Red Team gets back here to just close down the two DPS alone on the objective, and that is round one for Red Team. Really just a dominant performance out of this DPS lineup here. They are just never shut down almost ever. And when their tank tries, it seems like the rest of Blue Team, especially their DPS, just like lack the communication and the connection to the rest of their team. It seems especially when Tor tries to do his part and shut down this really dominant DPS dive combo. He's just not supported, either not supported by the rest of his team and can't really secure the pick for the counter push. That, and also his team never seems to realize that they're not pushing up, right? They're that they shouldn't push up. Elijah and Matthew, over and over again, find themselves far too far in without the support of their Zarya, because, as their Zarya should be, is trying to lock down their backline and keep the supports alive. Max has decided that he's not going to play any more Venture, seemingly just out of pity for blue team here, really. Maybe it's just more disrespectful than just staying on Venture, some could argue. But he's here, he's going to pick the Genji again. Is one tap getting walked out by an Ana. Now it's his... yeah, he's just too far in and dies there. Just finds himself going back in. Ripley manages to trade out for the Ana though. Blew it down to support. This fight could go either way. Ripley finds another onto Matthew on Junkrat. Elijah manages to trade out onto Ripley, but is immediately then killed by Juno Maya on the end of that play. The blue are going to secure this point with only 2 alive, but mostly because red team's tank was just out of the fight for far too long. Immediately going to take back the point though. Blue team gets 10% there. This Junkrat currently is very unchecked on this high ground. Doomfist is going to try and make something happen. His one tap though has to leave. This Juno on the side is getting pushed out a lot by their poke. We'll see what... Tor is just going to walk straight into their backline. Elijah finds the one that Tor gets low as the Kiri teleports away from that Ram, just walking him down. Now the Ram finds another onto the Juno, and I didn't even see how it happened, but Blue manages to find Doomfist, possibly just pushed up, disconnected from his team as the Ram just walks them down. Seemingly here, Tor has decided that he is not going to try and help his team anymore. He's just going to demolish the backline as he does best on these kind of brawly characters that he is known for playing. Ram here on this map specifically, Ilios Ruins, is a very brawl-oriented map, and it is really, really strong here for a Junkrat Ram composition. This Doomfist is caught really far in the back, is flashed, manages to find Elijah still though, rolling straight into the Doomfist on full HP. The barrage goes wide, unfortunately finds nothing. Red have now found 3. This is just a really good play overall from Red here. Although Blue manages to find... I'm casting, James. Can we be polite? Also, the recording can't hear you. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, this Ram ult here has managed to secure the point. There was no turnover at any point. Now this Doomfist is fighting very desperately on the point, maybe just to make something happen, but hasn't realized that they've lost the advantage completely, and the point stays in blue team's favor. Tor, once again, is really just the link that holds blue team together, is really making this this game not go great for red here this round. Very much just a dominant brawl map that Tor is playing into really well. Ripley's going to find a pick here on the Junkrat. Max is just sending a lot of shurikens wide, is flashed, forced out on the side here. This Doomfist is very alone on the side. Elijah managed to find Kiri with the ult. Unfortunately, Kiri's ult goes down far before that. And then with the rush, the red team is just going to have the power to walk over blue here. Tor is still alive on the Ram, although not for much longer. And this fight's going to go red's way. With all of their ults, though. It is a good trade, though. The Juno ult went out for blue team, didn't find anything. So it's a very even ult economy. This Junkrat has an ult here, Riptire, which he may manage to do something with. Riptire from spawn almost is going to run it straight down mid and not lose it. Yes, loses it to that Pharah. That is a very, very ballsy Riptire that just isn't going to work. Elijah's on the flank here looking for something. Manages to absolutely demolish that fucking Pharah. Holy shit. Just absolutely sent to shreds. Max manages to trade out Elijah there, but not before the Pharah is dead and blue just completely regained control of the point. Max is still not dead here despite being a one-tap from this Ana. And blue is just going to have this really strong dominance here. Once again, red are fighting for this control though. They haven't lost the point yet. Max is fighting in the backline, fighting for his life, isn't able to find anything before Elijah can just kill him. Ripley trades him out while Doomfist kills the Ana. This actually could be a fight win here with the barrage. It will be red hold on to fight another day. This round will go on. If they cap, which they do, they almost C9'd. Maybe not almost, but it was a possibility. with that overtime clock ticking down. Blue are just going to restabilize here, wait for their whole team to go in. Let's hope that Blue can find some early picks without getting traded out here, without sacrificing their lives for a pick on a DPS, which otherwise may not even be able to find something in the first place. Tour Hero is holding his front space, walks straight onto point, trying to force this objective play here. The Ana gets away from the Meteor Strike and the Charge Punch, is getting... Elijah just gets walked down by this Pharah really far in their backline. Is maybe too late to contribute to the fight anymore, especially with this Ram ult, this powerful Annihilation on point. The Annihilation runs out, so Ripley finds his chance to go back into the fight. Seb jumps onto the point to maybe just hold this for a second longer, dies, and then Ripley takes his place as well. A Juno ult onto the point to maybe hold onto something. Max is too late. Tries to dash onto the point to secure the continuing fight, but can't make it. That is a good fight win for Blue. Tor really just linking this team together on the Brawl map. Let's see if they can try and transfer this into a well game. It's definitely going well for Blue, especially considering they've swapped off their strong pick, Venture. For pity, there's just some confusion from both teams. They couldn't find a consensus between themselves on if bans were still happening or not.
Capture the objective.
It seems like it doesn't matter. They're just going to go for a fight here. Looking to stay brawly. Elijah is looking for this off-angle kill, drops the high ground, interestingly, to let himself be a victim to this Genji, but on Brig now, Max is going to find really hard finding any purchase on the Genji, but Ripley just manages to poke out this this Brig very, very quickly, especially with this attention being taken. The Juno dies there, not able to find any support, especially on the side there, and this Pharah can just do whatever she wants. Matthew is still alive, and is probably about to get, jumped completely, shot dead in the street. Just didn't run away as quick. Elijah here now, looking for a really early angle onto something, a powerful play, just doesn't respect the Pharah enough, and dies completely, instantly, almost. Really ruining this momentum that Blue could have had going into this next fight here, possibly, especially with an early position being taken. Max just finds Matthew on Junkrat completely unaware here and gets out alive. A very effective hit. Down 2 damage. Blue can't really do anything here, but just hold on to their lives. The soldier is back now, but Max just finds the Ana and the Juno. Ripley is able to poke out the soldier once again. Tor is dead to Max as he dies to Junkrat. And once again, Matthew is last alive and shot dead in the street. Red here, making a really powerful play here. This is a much more dive-oriented map, a lot more high ground for Red to take advantage of. These career dive players, Ripley and Max, this is really their element. Ruins is, I think, from what I can remember, maybe these players' least favorite map in the entire game. A sleep onto the Pharah ult after the kill onto the Juno is really good for Blue here, just to manage to trade out. Elijah has killed himself with his rockets. I didn't even realize. This is a really powerful way to take this fight back. Nick just really dominating this fight here on Ana. Managing to find 2. Matthew swapped over to Mei, has realized that the Junkrat may not be his best pick here, especially into 2 dive heroes where he doesn't really know how to counter that on that hero. So now he's on a much more tank play focused or oriented damage hero. Elijah is once again caught out by the Pharah. Mr. Get Pickmaster 3000. I don't even know what that means. I'm just saying shit. Slander for slander. Max finds a kill onto the Ana here with the Dragon Blade. Is traded out by Tor, but not before the rest of Tor's team goes down, and he is left alone on the point, as he is many times this game. Elijah has come back from spawn from his very early death and manages to help Tor find 2 here. A really like, surprising way to hold into this fight here. Maybe would have not been as hard if Elijah hadn't died so quickly in the first place. Max is here looking for a flank. His presence is completely unknown here, but the whole of blue team are playing on the other side of the objective. He's not really going to be able to find anything. Elijah here with his visor has locked down Max now. Max has found no opportunity, so he's just left. The visor otherwise is completely kited by the rest of red team. Maybe the value to deny the Genji flank was enough, but the Genji is now on the Mei in the backline. Might be able to find a kill here. No ice block out of the Mei. It means that the Max on the Genji can find the kill. Elijah and Tor managed to get 2 respectively, but Red just took too much of the control of the objective, especially with their ults to... With that Curie rush, with that Earth Strike from the Doomfist that they just took the control. Blue are trying to find their footing back on the objective, but really can't find anything, especially after this barrage comes out. Finding Elijah. Ram is just fighting for his life. Can't find it. Can't find his life, really. Fights for it, but he can't find it, or can't keep it. Blue are just going to stall here for as long as they can. They do have control of this objective. So if they can somehow... Nope. Okay. The control swaps to red. Blue do only need to win 1 team fight here to win the game, but I guess so do red. It's coming to a 99-99 overtime duel here. If blue can touch, red will go into overtime, but they just barely do on the Ram. Elijah is really deep on the soldier here with the attempt to touch. Is 1v1 in the Genji in the side room. Has the advantage. They trade out though. Ripley manages to kill Elijah after he kills Max. But yeah, red is just too powerful on this. There's an ice block from Mei just to hold out for as long as possible, but there's no hope. And this game goes to red. It's really... Blue team especially Tor there really shine on a brawl map. And that's what they got for their second point on Ruins. But these dive specialists on this team, this Doom player, this Genji player, or Venture player, and the Pharah, it's really just a couple of one tricks here that just really make it shine. I mean, I didn't realize, but Fatboy is actually a Korea dive Doom Genji player. This is my first time learning about this, and that really means that they just have this dominant performance on a very dive-focused map, apart from Ruins. And this really just goes how you'd expect. You match a brawl team with a dive team, the dive team will win on the dive map. They just don't have enough coordination on blue team to succeed in the other maps where it counts. Yeah, this was a very interesting game. Now let's see if these bands can actually be coordinated on this map coming up. I'm not sure what map it's going to be. I don't know if the series is continuing. But, you know, we'll see how things turn out.